Hi, everyone, and welcome to Heart Mind Conversations with Cheryl Piper. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Cheryl Piper. And, my only job is to help men and women that are challenged by divorce, job loss, heartbreak. They hire me to help to uncover those sabotaging patterns that can really block their success. So, today, what we're going to talk about, our theme for the week is lessons learned. And, this has just really been coming up a lot for me in talking with people and in my own life, to keep in mind that we have a lot of lessons to learn and absorbing those lessons. So I'd like to invite everyone over to watch the original broadcast on my Facebook page, which is at Cheryl Piper Sends Love, or you can just simply click the link that will bring you over here. That way you'll be able to comment live, and we'll be able to kind of make you part of the show. You're certainly welcome to watch from wherever you are. I've pushed this out on a lot of different hubs. And but if you want to be part of the show, just jump over to my Facebook page. It looks like I am running a little slow here. Not quite sure what's going on. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping and see if that will help a bit. It may. Hopefully time will catch up here and we'll be okay. But anyway, we're going to keep going. So, again, today we're talking about lessons learned. And, in thinking about this, I like to talk about and bring the point up. The point is, are things happening to us, or are things happening for us? Because it's a whole different level of thought. And so I want to bring that up in the beginning so that we can kind of unpack that and look at that throughout the program today. And I really, really, if you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay, really want your comments, want your questions. I'd love to know what you're thinking on this subject, because it's very important that we move through our challenges in life. And if you guys have seen my personal profile on Facebook, you'll see that that is my cover, that we must transcend our challenges and overcome them. And that does transcend and bring us into that different level of thought and being able to see the lessons in what's going on here, because there's a lot of stuff that happens every day, and there are different ways to look at it. And I call this Earth School, and I know many people have I've said that to many people, and they kind of look at me like, what, what does that mean? And I truly believe that this is Earth School. We're here, we're spiritual beings coming here to have an experience. And in that experience, there are things that we have lessons to learn that will help us to remember who we really are and help us to be able to transcend that sometimes craziness that just seems to be happening in life. And we don't need to stay stuck in, I call it stuck in the muck, because it's like the muck just keeps stirring around and stirring around and stirring around. So, in thinking about this, what lens of perception are we going to view a situation? And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, because we do have choices. And when we kind of step out of that craziness that I was talking about a little bit earlier, because sometimes when you're stuck in that craziness of right, wrong, that, this or that, it seems like we don't really have choices. It seems like life's just kind of coming at us. and situations are just coming at us. Things are happening to us. And it's a different level of thought to really transcend that thought process and move into a different thought process and to kind of flip it around and turn it upside down and look at it a different way. And to be able to see that maybe these things are happening for us and there's a lesson in here for me to learn. And I like to share this because, well, you know what? I'm going to share a story. And you know what? I'm going to pull that up on my other website. I'm just going to, let me just pull that up and grab that story. I don't know if we'll show the screen or not. Maybe. Let me just get that ready so we can do that in case. And this is actually from, well, you know what? I will share it really quickly. I'm going to talk about it, but let me just put it up here solo. This is from my other website, which is Alchemy Holistic Life Coach. And this is just my blog section. And so this is an article that I wrote a few years ago, and it's called Center of Peace, Standing in a Center of Peace. And you know what? I am going to talk about this. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but I think I am. And this is available. You know what? I'll put the link in so that you guys can read that if you would like to. But I'm going to bring it back to me here. There we go. Hey. And so, in looking at this, I wrote this article because, years and years and years ago, I was in a situation where I found myself caught up in someone else's drama. And I mean, raise your hand. Yeah. How many times has that happened where you are in a situation and all of a sudden you're in somebody else's drama and you don't even know how you got there? Well, this situation that I was in, I had a person just coming at me like, the words were coming at me like daggers. And my first thought was, well, that's just not true. So I just started showing and talking about how, these things that's not really what was going on. And then I was like, wow, what was I thinking? Because that just added fuel to the fire. By me defending myself and kind of stepping into their drama, which is what I did. I stepped into it. And then that just added fuel to the fire. And I was in a situation where I really couldn't get up and leave. I don't really want to go into the details of that, but it was not like I could just get up and leave. And so the insults just kept coming. And my thought was, well, you know what? If I don't argue back, people don't argue with people who aren't arguing back. There's nothing to keep the argument going. So I'm not gonna argue. I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want to be in this, and I'm choosing to not argue. And yeah, that didn't work. I mean, this person was just, they were in a bad way. And you'll see that if you read the article, it's just that they were, I understand that it was just the space and time and moment that they were in that created this explosion of drama. But anyway, back to me being in it. And so, yeah, when that didn't work, by me just sitting there not arguing didn't work. And I thought, well, okay, I'm going to make a choice here. Because I was feeling anxious, and I thought to myself, no, this is not how I think anymore. I choose to send love. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to focus in on my heart chakra energy. I'm going to focus in on my heart, and I am going to project love out to this situation, because quite frankly, there was nothing else to do other than to send love to this person, because I chose to not be in an argument. I chose to not be in the drama. And as I made that choice and I sat there and I aligned myself and I chose to send love, all of a sudden I just I was just kind of wrapped in this beautiful space of warmth and protection and grace. I mean, I can't call it anything but grace because it just enveloped me, and I couldn't even hear their insults anymore. I couldn't even focus on them anymore because I was so busy thinking, wow, what is this? This is amazing. And I wanted to share that with you today, that when we choose to step into love, when we choose to step into sending out that message of love, no matter what the situation, there can be really interesting things that happen when we choose that energy, when we choose to step into that frequency. And I know I may be speaking in terms that aren't clear to some people, and believe me, I'm unpacking this as best I can, but these are things that I teach. These are things that I do when people come to me and they want to be more successful and remove those sabotaging patterns. And so I'm going to continue with the story. So anyway, I am wrapped in this grace, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is just amazing. And I didn't feel bad. I felt wonderful. And then something happened that kind of broke the argument. This person was, they received an email or whatever, and I understood that that hurt them. And I said, I understand that hurts you, and I'm so sorry that you had to experience what this person said to them in the email. And as I got up and walked away from that situation, because it had broke. I mean, like they weren't interested in arguing anymore. And I walked away from that situation and I thought to myself, wow, like I didn't even know that I had that kind of compassion in me. I didn't even know I had that in me. And and the reason I'm sharing this story with you is because if I would have chose to look at it a different way, if I would have chose to go down into that muck and argue with them and dig my heels in and let my ego make decisions for me, I would have never experienced this wonderful experience I just had. And by choosing to step into it and understanding that there was something here for me to learn. I had no idea what there was for me to learn when I walked into this situation or when I found myself in the middle of it. But by making the choice to send love and to stay in that alignment and in that space of love, I had this wonderful experience of understanding the compassion that was in me and that I was able to send out to this person and to diffuse that situation. And I'm not saying all situations will be diffused by something like this. I'm simply sharing my story with you in that understanding of there are lessons for us to learn. And when we choose to step in to these lessons in what I call it Earth School, because there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of contrast happening. If everything were perfect all the time and everyone got along all the time and everybody thought the same way all the time, well, wouldn't that be kind of boring? I mean, this physical place that we're in is a place of contrast. It is a place for us to experience. I mean, if we don't experience what we don't want, how in the world are we ever going to experience or know what we do want when it comes in front of us? It's having those experiences and learning those lessons and choosing to step into it with a different thought pattern and knowing that there is a different thought pattern, because I didn't know that there was a different thought pattern. I mean, I just thought things were coming at me and, I'm just going to deal with them and, I'm just going to try to maneuver them the best I can. And I had no idea. I thought things were always happening to me. I had no idea there was a different way of thinking and understanding that things could be happening for me and to move me into a lesson that was going to help me to understand more who I truly am and what I truly have to give to the world. And this is what we all have in us. This is what we all are. And so that's kind of what I wanted to unpack for you today with our theme for the week being lessons learned. And so we'll talk a bit more about it and then have a meditation on that on Friday. I've kind of rearranged the schedule where, Monday is the day we're discussing the theme for the week. Wednesday is interview day. And then Friday is going to be meditation. Everything is happening at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So keeping it nice and uniform for it to be easy for everyone to remember. And so I do invite you, if you're ready to continue on your journey in understanding who you really are and are ready to let go of all of that pain of the past that you've been carrying around, I invite you to contact me. You can reach me on Facebook at Cheryl Piper Sends Love, or you can contact me on my website. It's easy. It's just CherylPiper.com. So I will see you on Wednesday, and we will be talking more about lessons learned. Please give me some comments. Please give me some questions, and we'll unpack it even further on Wednesday. Have a great day.